timbers, they started back down. Then came that rumble way down in the ground. And the smoke and gas belched out of that mine. Everybody knew it was the end of the line for Big John.
Well, the boys around here don't listen to the Beatles run. Old Bo Cephas threw a jukebox needle at the honky-tonk where they boot stomp all night. What? That's right. Yeah, and what they call work a digging in the dirt. Gotta get it in the ground before the rain come down to get paid, to get the girl in your four-wheel drive. Yeah, the boys around here drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, shoot her back, shoot her back a spit. Oh, heck. Well, the boys around here, they're keeping it country. Ain't a damn one know how to do the Dougie. No, I'm not in Kentucky, but these girls around here, yep, they still love me. Yeah, the girls around here, they all deserve a whistle. Shaking that sugar sweet as Dixie Crystal. They like that yawling southern drawl and just can't help it 'cause they just keep falling for the boys around here, drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, shoot her back, shoot her back a bit.
Let's ride through the countryside. Let's ride down to the riverside.
Hey now, girl, hop inside. Me and you gonna take a little ride to the river. Let's ride. That's right. Lay a blanket on the ground. Kissing in the crickets is the only sound. We out of town. Have you ever got down with a do you wanna get down with a girl, you gotta get down with the boys around here, drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here, sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, shoot her back, shoot her back. I'm one of them boys around here, drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here, sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, shoot her back, shoot her back a spit.
Welcome to the WINGIT call, September 27th, 2016, and we're only 3 days before October 1st. Take a knee, please. Lord, we're all gathered here once again in your name. Try to share some information, get a little information, but most importantly, we're glad that you're here with us to help guide us through this. Give us your wisdom, your grace, and your patience. We accept your discipline and your blessings because we need both as you bring your blessings down to make a difference in humanity. And we thank you in your name and in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. So the disclaimer goes, we're not attorneys, we're not CPAs, we're not financial advisors, And for the rest of the disclaimer, please go to thewingitcall.com, click on the disclaimer tab, and you'll have the rest of the disclaimer. Wingman's running a little late today, so we're going to kick it off by respecting our elders as we should. Art Master, take it away.
Art Master. I don't know about the master part. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Weather here in Tennessee is beautiful. The cold front came through, only in the 70s today, 73 to be exact. And boy, is that...
Let me
Yes.
star two to raise your hand if you want to ask a question. I'm sure there's going to be plenty out there.
Okay. Anyway, weather's really good. Fall's finally got here, I guess. It was 90 just a couple of days ago and been 90 for... And I guess in Tennessee, they're saying out of the National Weather Bureau, they set some kind of record this year of like 80 days of 90 or more this summer. So I'm sure where you live in Texas, probably kind of the same way. But fall's upon us anyway. I got a little, this sit rep come out. It's a very short one, as a matter of fact. Doesn't say when it's going to happen, but just a couple points. On October 2nd, India will ratify the Paris Agreement. Now, I thought everyone had ratified it according to the UN, but maybe not. This has already been announced. The signing is being timed to coincide with Gandhi Jayanti, a national festival celebrated in India to mark the occasion of the birthday of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, the father of the nation. Gandhi seal on Paris climate deal, India to ratify on October 2. Russia is free to ratify the Paris Agreement at any time. We were told the other night they ratified, but now it's saying free to ratify at any time. There's considerable pressure piling up to make this happen. Per public intel, Russia is obfuscating its rationale for not having yet ratified in order to keep the cabal destabilized. What's holding Russia back from ratifying the Paris Climate Agreement? And then there's a link to click on. This is all in what do you call it, Dinar Chronicles. Given the above variables, here's the equation. India will sign on the 2nd. Russia will follow immediately with its own ratification, which takes the total number of signatories and their aggregate carbon footprint above the threshold for the Paris Agreement's entry into force. As soon as this happens, China will immediately start its currency conversion RV in order to swiftly establish economic beachheads in areas of the world where it wishes to have great influence going forward. And China will have only a very limited amount of time to flood these countries with funds at extremely high conversion rates before it too must back off and accept the new global gold standard and its concomitant currency value of a 1-to-1 ratio worldwide. In the meantime, Deutsche Bank will likely go nuclear and take down the existing cabal-driven financial order as swiftly and efficiently as the cabal once took down the Twin Towers. The new multipolar project-aligned financial world will immediately rise, and the new world is not the NWO, the New World Order. Deutsche Bank stock plunges to an all-time low after market rules out state bailout default risk surges. A crashing Deutsche Bank scrambles to assure markets that it is fine. Sure it is. Germany goes there. Can't compare Deutsche Bank to Lehman. And then one other thing is somebody by the name of Judy Byington publishes every day or every other day, brings us up to date over the last couple of days as to what's been happening. And so it's kind of good to read it. She's got one here today. September 26th, that was yesterday. Situation report on Dinar Chronicles stated changes due in October. And then she mentions the Fulford report, which is out there that anyone can pick up from, I think Dinar recaps, and it was on Chronicles too. Republic President Joseph Dunford placed a 24-hour hold on all RV activities beginning Sunday evening, September 25th, with a new RV release time still unknown. So we assumed last night it would probably resume. The UN General Assembly GCR RV announcement originally scheduled to be made at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time Monday was postponed and, in fact, made today, Tuesday, at 12 p.m. Eastern Time via the UN General Assembly mechanism. CIA and Mossad sources were saying the U.S. dollar would continue after September 30th, but that the dollar would be divided into a domestic U.S. dollar devalued by 50%, though the international U.S. dollar would remain unchanged. The Pentagon and other CIA sources said the Federal Reserve Board would cease existence on September 30th, raising the question of who exactly would control the dollar. The Pentagon reported the IMF accepts the gold-backed yuan into the SDR basket on October 1, as the Federal Reserve Board ceases September 30. The Paris Agreement, which secretly activates the global gold standard, is at near 48%. India will ratify October 2nd. They are 4.5%. So when Russia, at 7.35%, ratifies, it will cross the 55% threshold, but holds off until military issues are resolved and the cabal surrenders. CIA sources said China now secretly controlled special drawing rights in the IMF. IMF had proposed the currency as an alternative to the U.S. dollar. The Chinese government sources said China would watch the West over the coming months before making a move, saying the U.S. dollar is backed by nothing. Mossad and CIA sources in Asia insist there are vast hoards of gold in Asia that back the dollar. They claim there was gold at the Equator Monument in Indonesia where 4,000 tons of gold were located. We were told that each Middle Eastern conflict must be placed on an irreversible pathway toward resolution before the RV would be released. Meanwhile, Wells Fargo and Abbott Downing staff were waiting in 7,000 redemption centers, with word getting out that there were Zim redemptions on Monday, September 26th, and Friday, September 30th, was a legal backwall for intaking all old fiat currencies. Chinese elders must act before October 1 Saturday or be in treaty breach of international law. International law also stated they must give a 2-year redemption grace period in order for the public to redeem all retired assets. There would be a 1-week sovereign rate redemption period whereby anyone turning in old bonds, currencies, and historic assets could privately negotiate their conversion at a sovereign rate. After that period, a flat international rate would be applied during conversion, less any negotiation. And also on September 26th, CNN Money reported, we're seeing some significant losses in the markets right now. Downward momentum on Friday has carried through into the new week. U.S. stock futures are all pushing down. Many European markets are dropping by about 1.5% in early trading, and Asian markets are closing out the day with losses. Banking stocks are among the main losers right now. Germany's Deutsche Bank is falling by nearly 7% to its lowest level in over 20 years. The system is collapsing. TNT and Fisher reported on September 26th. Tidbit and Fisher update. I was on a Fisher call last night, real late, and he got an email or text or something, and he said, well, parts of this I won't tell you, but I can tell you that all Exchange Center employees were just called in a half an hour ago, so he thought last night something was going to happen. But we don't have our 800 numbers yet. Then we heard they were coming out at noon today. No time zone was given. I got that from one of my contacts. EcuBucks 100% believe that this is an asset-backed GCR occurring with most of the countries in the world revaluing their currencies both up and down. Iraq is the spearhead of this reset. We are within days of seeing this begin to occur, September 29th, just my belief. Fisher says, want an update? Can't put it too exactly, or it could spoil the plan, but here it goes. Dunford allegedly asked for 25 hours last night and got it. The UN General Assembly members got word on the release today, September 26th at noon. And September 26th video by Larry B. Tilton, they stated, we believe the RV will start tonight. 800 numbers will come out within the next 2 days. On September 26th, Real Truth Chatter was stated 24 hours. Keynes, 2017 said today, Monday to the 26th. Art said that tomorrow, Tuesday, September 27th, both the 800 numbers and the Zim might be turned loose. Well, somebody had put something out that maybe just the Zim would be turned loose, but that was supposed to be yesterday. And we do know that currency exchanges are happening on a consistent basis with employees of Wells Fargo, friends and family of Wells Fargo, and we understand some of the military. And here we sit waiting for our 800 numbers. And then finally, Fisher said, stop and ask yourselves, why are there over 20 reports of private redemptions on the Zim in the last few days, signing no NDAs? And why were they allowed to get out? You think somebody wanted more pressure to be applied? That's his opinion, of course. And I want to do just one more thing, which is important. And a lot of this has hold on just a second. A lot of this has happened If I can find it here real quick. Well, I won't look for it. There's a short email I got from. I was introduced to a guy 6 years ago from down here in Nashville by the guy that got me in this business, and I kept in touch with him throughout the years. He had bought some currency, some dinar, didn't have a lot, and of course thought of it. He needed some help. He said when the time came. He was in a wheelchair, had a lot of heart problems. Eventually lost a leg. This year his wife died. Just got an email from his son today saying he passed on the 17th. Here's another case where somebody bought currency several years ago and didn't live to enjoy it. So his son just said, I'll need your help. My dad said, you were the guy to call when the time came because you could help me. And so naturally I emailed him back and told him I would help him. But so many cases that we've heard over the last several years of so many people having bought currency and just passed on. Things happen and didn't get to enjoy it. So, by golly, this thing needs to hurry up and happen. And so nobody else goes before it happens. That's just terrible. And I really felt bad when I read that email today. But things happen, like we say. So anyway, I'll wrap it up, Rick, so you can take over. And I hope everybody got a little bit out of what we read there, so we don't know if it's by the 30th or the only thing we're worried about, if they have to have all these cabal cornered over in Syria and those places and make sure it's an irreversible type of thing where they can't get out of it, I sure hope they've already done that so we can see these numbers pretty quickly. So, pardon my scratchy voice today. Getting old, my voice is getting old too. All right, turn it over to you, Rick.
Thanks, Art. We forgot one person, and I want we're setting differences aside here for just a minute. But Nancy over on with Nancy and Linda on the Nancy call at night needs our prayers. She's in the hospital and she's having some issues. So if you would keep her in your thoughts and prayers. We don't want her kicking the bucket before it's time because she is the self-named Zim Queen. We'd like to see her get a chance to, roll in the money before God brings her home. So keep her in your prayers. Let's see. Okay. Darn it. Wingman may not make it today. Go. So we've all read everything out there. Everybody has an idea that we're pretty close. And all I ask is that you stay grounded. Everybody might have good information, but it hasn't panned out just yet. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just not time. I was hoping to have another special guest on here, but Soil Dude, could you maybe give just a little, not about soil, but about what's going on? Because I think you have some idea. Because the guy that we were going to bring in is actually from Iraq. Are you there, Soil Dude?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I talked with him this morning. He is somewhat on standby right now. That's why it's been difficult for him to break away. He's kind of been subject to the schedules of the politicians in Iraq, because from what I understand in talking with him this morning, they have called in representatives today and tomorrow from all the provinces of Iraq to discuss agricultural development. And honestly, I think that's because we're getting right up to the end of the fiscal year. So a lot of preparation is being made, and he has had at a moment's notice to supply information for them that they request. So he's kind of on call right now. He told me he would try to make it on the call. I shared with him that I'm sure the people on the call would like to ask him questions as to what's happening over there and what the reports he's receiving, because he has been in touch with the ag minister and a number of the officials over there. Now, whether he's receiving the full truth, I don't know, but he has a pretty good sense for the schedule of progress that they're on. And I think it all comes down to the end of the fiscal year, start of the new fiscal year, and enacting the new budget and kicking off all these programs. And so they're right in the middle of it right now. That's what I can report, Jerry.
Thank you. That is about as close as you can get to quote unquote boots on the ground, with somebody that's actually there. That's pretty good.
Well, he's actually located in Texas, but he is on call by phone. They're calling him all through the night. He doesn't get much sleep these past few days.
No, but he used to live in Iraq, so he has people over there he knows, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he has an office over in Iraq and some employees that are interfacing directly with people meeting also. But they still need to call on him since he's overseeing a few areas involved in agriculture.
Exactly. All righty then. Star 2 to raise your hand, and we're going to take a few callers here. Sarasota, Florida. Come on down. Sarasota, come on down. 941, Sarasota, Florida. Come on down. Yeah. I guess they're not listening. Sarasota, Florida. Going once. Sarasota going twice. Sarasota gone. Can't pronounce. Perrine, Florida. 305. Perrine, Florida. Hello.
Chair?
305. Yes.
Oh, you hear me? Okay. How are you?
Good.
Just want to take a moment to thank you, Chair. I've enjoyed your calls and appreciate what you've done for us.
Thank you.
I just want to comment on Arts Intel, may I? He read something that was called SIT-REP, but it wasn't written by the normal SIT-REP writer. Now, can I just give you my opinion? Is that okay?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I'm okay with the normal SIT-REP writer. I know I'm not going to say his name. I know I'm not going to get into the that's just for me. He did write one right after the one that Art read. The one that Art read was not by him. It was called Popcorn, and I don't know. I'm not buying the October 1 and 2 thing. And the normal SIT-REP writer that came out right after the one that Art read, I guess Art didn't see it, is still sticking to this week, September 30th. I just wanted to bring that up for whatever that's worth. Thank you.
Oh, not a problem. Listen, I just want somebody to be right one time. We all have different intel people that we get stuff from, and sometimes I personally think that it might be one or two people at the very top disseminating it down different lines through different people saying, tell them this, tell them this. Because occasionally it seems like if you can trace it back, that's what happens. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I got to hand it to you. You've called October 1st the last couple of months. Now, you first originally called it for July with the new quarter. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
then I said if it didn't go by the 15th, we're probably looking at the next quarter.
yeah, but this is not a quarter now, Jared. We're talking the whole fiscal year, right? I mean, we just heard it from Soil Man with what his guys going through. So it's a little bit even better for us, right, than a regular quarter. Would you agree?
Yeah. If you look at it, from our viewpoint, starting October 1st is the fourth quarter for us. Now, if the rest of the world observes it like that, I don't know, but you're right. This is the beginning of the fiscal year and I think Iraq has accepted also that October 1st is the beginning of their new fiscal year also. So makes one go, doesn't it?
Yeah. I just wanted to clarify what Art read earlier about
Sure.
a sit rep that came out today called Popcorn, which wasn't the normal sit rep writer, and he produced one right after that came out, and he's still sticking to this week. And just wanted to clarify that. If
I hope they're right.
Yeah.
Just
now, you
remember,
did say it might trickle into the first couple of days of October also, right? That's for us to get to the bank?
Uh-huh. I did.
You don't think the redemption centers will be open Saturday and Sunday, Chair? Or who cares anyway?
I could hope so. I could only hope so.
Well, I'm praying this is your last call. Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. Thank you. Star 2 to raise your hand. Clearwater, Florida. A lot of people from Florida. Clearwater.
Absolutely.
Redneck Radio,
Hello?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes. Is the Sarah coming in at the same time?
Well, I don't know. They sure are keeping that a secret, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. That's why, because we'd be a lot safer if it did.
I could only hope. A lot of people are saying that's hogwash. I'm going to keep my options open and say nothing stays the same forever. Right?
Right, absolutely. So, thank you very much, and you have a great day.
That's it? You don't have another question?
No, because I don't know how much the money is. We're not going to know how much we're getting out of stuff,
Until we get there, and until they throw the rate down there, or tell you about it, or slide the piece of paper across there, like, here's your rate, ma'am, and you slide it back and say, I don't think so, I want a little more. We won't know.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye.
Going to be a short call. Nobody has their hand raised. Cookeville, Tennessee. Come on down. 931.
Hey, Jerry, how are you today, sir?
Good.
I'm a little confused, and I wonder if you might help us out, the general audience. No one knows the date, obviously, or the rate, although we all anticipate very near coming to the end here. I've been in it about 7 years now. And, of course, we don't know the rate. We'd like to, but we don't. I looked into a couple of folks that are saying that of all the currencies in the past up till now, no currency has ever revalued more than 20%. And what they're saying is the dinar was at 0.0006, and now it's 0.00 almost 9. So we've had a revaluation on the currency, and that was about a 22% rate increase. So if everybody's saying we're going to get 1,000% or 5,000%, be it $5, or 1,000%, be it $1, And no currency ever in the history of currency revaluations ever been over 20 to 25%. That's where I'm confused and a little maybe misled, or maybe WINGIT. I mean, Iko has something to say about that if he's on the call. Can you help us
he's
out
not
with
here.
that?
He's not here right now. But let me say this. So, the first time that this happened, and it was kept really quiet, it's happened many times before, but the first time that we really noticed it was when Iraq invaded Kuwait.
Mm-hmm.
And they took all their money and flooded it. Well, the first thing that we did was devalue their currency down to what Iraq is right now. And then you can go back if you do a little research, and I'm giving you a quick summation here. Is
right. Uh-huh.
One day they said it's not going to revalue, and the king is dead, or the emir of Kuwait,
Uh-huh.
and the next day they reinstated to pre-war levels with their new printed money at the rate it was before they got invaded. So technically, no, they didn't revalue, but the people that bought the new money up saw a substantial gain. So it's just a play on words. So if you want to look at it like that, there was. Go ahead.
Was that a redenomination? I'm sorry to interrupt. Was that a redenomination, not a revalue of the currency, or how did that work?
Yes. But they sold it because, see, Saddam came in and pumped their market full of his money. Took all theirs, burned it, I believe. So they had to have new money. So they printed out a bunch of new money and actually sold it at the rate that Iraq is at right now. And people bought a bunch of it. And then when it reinstated, they saw a substantial gain. So however you want to look at it, there was a lot of money to be made, whether it was an RV, a redenomination, or a reinstatement, an RI, any way you look at it. So it's just a play on words.
So the people that bought the old Saddam Hussein, and then the people that bought the new currency when they printed the new one, depending on what you want to call it, they actually lost money on the old money, and the people that bought the new money, they made money on it. I think, is that what you're saying there?
Yeah, because nobody bought the old money because it was discontinued.
Yeah, I see. So we're not sure, based on the currency increase of the past, since currency existed, that 20% would be an accurate target that we would, because if that's the case, if we bought it at $1,000,
let me say this. This is an unprecedented, never before seen event, and I think you're probably going to see more than just a 20% increase. Do you think Iraq is going to go from just tenths of a cent on the dollar to 15 or 20 cents, if even that?
I hope not.
After all the articles that Dr. Shabibi has put out there that has stated they could actually handle $16 to 1, USD to 1. So there's articles out there. I know where you're coming from. So let's hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yes, I'm with you, because I'm with everybody. I want it to be as much as possible.
Okay. All righty. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jerry. Mm-hmm.
Let's go down here to spring break heaven. Come on down. Yes, ma'am. That's you.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. How is it down there in spring break?
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, yes. The question I have, I've never called in any of the calls, and I listen to yours a lot, and thank you so much for doing it. You and your team are really calming. And but I got a bit of information last night that, I don't know, was disconcerting. Can I say something disconcerting on your call? Or
Absolutely. This is,
well,
everybody has an opinion.
thank you. This source is pretty reliable. I don't really want to say who it is, but it's somebody that's online. But this person used to be a DJ in a large city where officials are, and said that Hillary Clinton sold our country out to China many years ago when she was Secretary of State. And that basically they have eminent domain over the United States. And that someone in Reno was sent from Japan. It's a princess of Japan, and she's basically running what is now the Federal Reserve Bank. She's overseeing it, and the one in D.C. has been closed. Now, I really hope this is wrong, but I'm pretty aware that China is running a lot of things, including one of our major banks. They own them now, and many other things. So, what do you think?
I've heard a lot of things, and one of them, several of the things that you've talked about, I've heard.
Okay.
But until there's some type of official announcement, you're going to have to take it with a couple grains of salt. Maybe wash it back with a blue moon, and just sit back and watch.
It won't be a hard announcement. It's very soft because that's the way their civilization is. That it's very soft pedaling until the end is near.
Sure, and like that's what I'm saying. And until, let it be a soft announcement, because you can't shock the public.
Right.
Otherwise, there might be some issues. But I understand where you're coming from. But let's keep our fingers crossed. First off, let's look at it this way. Let's try to get to the bank first, and then prepare ourselves and go from there. How's that?
Thank you. And on a praying level, don't you think we should all be getting on our knees and praying like there's no tomorrow about this?
I think we've all been there for quite a while, ma'am.
But not just for the RV. If we love this country at all,
that's what I'm
talking about. We better hope that this isn't true. Yes, sir. Yes. So thank you so much. And we really appreciate y'all, and hope that everything goes well really soon for everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Take care. God bless.
Mandeville, Louisiana. Come on down.
Hey, how you doing, Jerry?
Good. How are you doing?
Great. Listen, I've been in this a couple of years now. Just recently got some SIM, but I was looking at a website, xe.com. It's an exchange website. And I was trying to figure out if what I was looking at was correct as far as the call letters on the SIM. If you went to to look at it,
I'd like to help you out, but Wingman is the one that really knows about all that. But from what I've heard him say about XE, I even got panicked phone calls from people going, "Hey, the dinar is showing this, and the ZIM is this," and it had the numbers were bouncing around on all the currencies. problem is we can see it, but when you go to do a transaction, it doesn't go through. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I was just wondering if maybe you knew what the call letters were to make sure that I was looking at the right one, because I'm not that familiar with it. And I was looking at what it says, the Zimbabwean dollar, which is a ZWD as far as the call letters on it.
And there might even be a ZWR, I think. I'm not sure. I've never looked at XE before.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't know, huh?
Well,
thank you anyway.
You're welcome. Star 2 to raise your hand, please. Murfreesboro, come on down.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
Pretty good. Looks like you're going to be the last caller here. Short call today.
Wow. There you go. A couple of things. I didn't really have anything. Just the guy that called in a couple of calls ago about no currency is ever revalued above 20%. Kuwait actually wasn't the first one in the modern era. Germany was. And that's how we ended up with the 47 gold treaty that Nixon did away with, and we are in the shape we're in right now. So 20%, you can throw that out the window. As far as a lady that called in about a Japanese princess and all that, ultimately the United States is owned still by the Indian tribes by treaty from 1770s. So you can throw that out the window too. Just, there's a lot of stuff out there. Just don't listen to it. Wait till we get to the bank. We're close. We're very close. So that's all I have.
Absolutely. And I hear all kinds of stuff, and that's why I keep the salt shaker handy over the left shoulder and chase it back with a blue moon.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. So at any rate, that's all I had. I just put everybody to rest. Those rumors are not true. So.
Well, thank you, sir. Hold on here. I just got a text. That's why I'm chuckling. No, I'm not going to read it. It's somebody texted me about the call. Got it? Yes, correct. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jerry. Take care.
Well, this isn't West Point, but it's darn close enough. Annapolis, come on down.
Good afternoon, Jerry. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I am well. Thanks for taking my call today. As always, a great call. I love listening to the call, and you're handling everything on your own today, so kudos to you. I was just wondering if you caught on the, I don't want to get too political, but yesterday during the debate, Trump mentioned about China and about basically currency in a way, in a nonchalant way, about how they're trying to take over. I was wondering if you caught that.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. No, because I was watching football. It was 90 minutes of my life that I didn't want to give away, so I was watching football, which was way more important, and then I read about how the debate went this morning, so sorry.
Totally understand. I just figured that was very interesting. Sometimes the subtleties with what's going on are put out there from the politics, government, Bloomberg, CNN, all these medias, which is controlled by the government. But they kind of give us tidbits on things that are coming out, so I feel like they're kind of giving us an indicator of what's about to happen. So let's just be positive and just play this thing in. And as always, thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. So, like I've always tried to say, occasionally, you know, we all reach a frustration level, and I'm human just like everybody else is. I don't always keep my foot grounded and watch my lips when they say things, but it's still my opinion, and sometimes I'm not too far off base. Perrine, Florida, come on down. 305?
It's me. I was on earlier. Hi.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. The gentleman who brought up that, values have never increased in the past.
Yeah,
This is I had a 50-page booklet on this. I'm sure a lot of the listeners know what I'm referring to. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime event regarding, getting all the, I'm not smart enough to say it like an ICO, like to get all the countries and their true values and redo everything. Mm-hmm. This is not like so I understand you brought up the Kuwait thing, but I was yelling on the phone, tell them this is a once-in-a-lifetime event.
I did at the very end there.
Okay. Again, I just wanted to come in and say that. Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Phoenix, rising from the ashes. Come on down.
Hello, Jerry. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Mr. B. Been listening, and a lot of interesting subjects. I did watch the debate, and I do remember when Trump mentioned China, he was talking about their unconventional monetary policy when it comes to the devaluation of their currency to take advantage of shipping their goods to America. And so he was pointing out that they manipulate their own economy, and this is how they've been able to come to power, or at least, we're in a position to come to power. And of course, we know the first is when they get the renminbi into the SDRs. Mm-hmm. So that was very interesting. Also, he had mentioned that the Federal Reserve is more political than they are, than doing their job, which was,
they're not political. That's called racketeering. I wish I could get a racket like that.
Well, yeah, obviously it's a racket. I mean, you and I print money, we go to jail. They print money and they get paid for it. But he's talking about the political side of them because, yeah, exactly. And they can't raise the. He was saying the Federal Reserve is more political than doing their job, and they can't raise the interest rate. He brought up something that I hope a lot, unfortunately a lot of people went right over their top of their head, I believe, but he was saying that the interest rate cannot be raised because of the debt ceiling. We can't make because of the interest. If they raise the rate, then we have a higher interest payment, and that would collapse the economy. And I thought that was really interesting that he said that during the debate. And so it tells you a lot. I mean, he is clued into the problems, or at least some of the problems. And as far as these currencies, never revaluing more than 20% ever in the history of currencies, I would say that, yeah, that may be true. Maybe it's not true. But we've never seen what we're seeing right now, where we're taking the economy of the world, getting rid of the sovereignty of all countries and putting them under one government, one control mechanism. We've got these trade agreements which are going to cross-collateralize the countries and lock them in and make our own government irrelevant. You're seeing this in the euro, you're seeing it in Africa, and you're seeing it come to America. They're trying to pass these new laws without letting our own governmental officials even read them. I'm talking about TPP. I think it's TIPS and I forget the other one. There's three of them. But the point is they're trying to sneak these. Yeah, and Hillary's on board with all of them. You heard her. If you heard the debate, she was saying, I'm not for that trade deal anymore. And Trump said, well, your husband's the one that passed the first one, and you were for that one, and that one's the worst one of all of them. And now you're against this one just because I said I was against it. And of course, he called her out and said, "You only say what you want to say when you're getting elected, and then you do whatever you want to do." The point is the euro is in the middle of trying to get unraveled in that very process. And so when we talk about the currency revaluation of the countries we're interested in, we need to understand that all these countries are going to revalue or come to parity because this one global order or this one condition requires all the currencies to come to parity because there'll be no unconventional monetary policies for any country, especially America and China. And this is why our exporting or shipping is going to suffer. And I've said this for a couple years. Watch shipping. And we just seen the biggest bankruptcy in shipping we've ever seen because they can't afford.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they can't afford to ship empty containers to China all the time, and so we live in very interesting times, wouldn't you say, Jerry?
Absolutely. All righty, sir. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Raleigh, come on down.
Redneck Radio. Good afternoon.
Go ahead. How you doing?
I'm good. I just want to say hi to Mr. B. That's a man of lots of knowledge, that man. You should have him on more often. I just want on a lighter note.
If maybe he can email me at the wingitcall@gmail.com and we'll have a chat. Because
you hear him, Mr. B? Do it. On a lighter note, Jerry, there's a very, very, very nasty smell coming out of here, Raleigh, North Carolina. Hillary Clinton just left.
Ah.
Yes.
I didn't know she was in Raleigh. I thought she was up in New York.
Nah, she was near me all day long. Oh, does it stink? Anyway.
Okay.
For Art, I want to say for Art, I'm very sorry about his friend. Boy, that was depressing. And so anyway, you have a great day. And we'll chat again.
Thank you, sir. Pleasanton, Texas. 830. Come on down.
Jerry, I just want to thank you and the team for the job y'all have done representing this investment and exchange of ours that we'll be looking at. You've kept everybody well informed and well educated, and I thank you for your service. I wanted to ask you, if last week on the call you mentioned that if this thing does not go by October 1, there was a back date that you said you would look at, and I missed that back date. It was on a call last week, and I was wondering if you could remember that and give it back to us. Thank you, Jerry.
Well, I really didn't say a back date, but And I hate giving dates and rates. The only reason I did October 1st is because that was a hard and fast SDR basket for the gold back yuan. So I felt pretty comfortable in giving that one. Anything else after that, I'm going to entertain just somewhere in the month of October. But I have said, I'm on record by saying if it doesn't go on the 1st, or if it does, then it might be the first 7 days of October before, when we get into the bank. So,
thank you for that, Jerry.
All right. You're welcome. Boston, come on down.
Hey, Jerry. Thank you for calling me.
Yep.
I just wanted to comment on what that gentleman said about the debate, and that my view on the whole thing was that she lost and he won, but of course the media said said the opposite, which is just let you know what's going on and who owns the media, But that's all. I didn't even think I'd get on because I just pressed it to get on, and I'm grateful, and I want to thank you, Jerry, for all your information and your commitment. Thank you so much.
Well, Well, because we're short on callers today, Wingman's not here, and I can only hold so much, because Wingman, everybody likes to hear Wingman, and I have no issues with that.
Yeah.
I've always said, I just bring people together, and from the art meister to the Wingman to, the soil dude, if you heard that call, soil, that's how you grow food. We had 150 people on the call yesterday and just a couple hundred people on the web, but you got to think about this. Everything you eat comes from where? Dirt.
Right. Right.
Comes from dirt. So
clean dirt.
I'll put that clean dirt. I'll get that replay link put up on the website maybe later on today. So, all right, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Roseville, 586. Come on down. Hello. Roseville. Is it Michigan? Maine? No. That's you. Roseville, 586. Come on. Yes, come on down.
That's me?
Uh-huh.
Hello?
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. How you doing? How's
Not
it
bad.
going? That's good. I have a very serious question, and I've been trying to get on one of these calls. I got on one, and that was Nick. I was asking him a question, and he was like saying whatever he wanted to say. But just facts and opinion. Okay, when they put out a bulletin about or intel about the one gentleman that exchanged to Zimbabwe, and he got a certain amount of money, and then it was asked to another person, why did they put it out? And they said that it was false. My concern is, okay, I have a lot of people that's invested in this, and all I hear from everybody is, okay, it's going to be today. It's going to be today. Don't believe this person. Jerry Maguire is a liar. He's ripping people off. How come everybody just can't get together and come up, to a medium? It's just like the debates. I've heard several people come on your call and other calls and talk about Hillary Clinton and talk about Donald Trump. Okay, nobody is answering any questions. Everybody is just picking and nitpicking at each other. I don't even understand how we're supposed to come together as a country or make America great or, be with her or whatever, if we can't even come together as far as being people and taking other people's feelings in consideration in the public and the lower income people. I wouldn't call them poverty. They're just lower income people. I just have a lot to say, and I wanted to know your opinion about the intel that came out and why the intellers, you guys, can't come together. Everybody is always so against each other. The truth is the truth, and a lie is a lie. It ain't no half-truth. It ain't no believe me. I mean, everybody should be on one page. It's confusing to everybody, and it's making everybody frustrated.
Well, you were over on I heard you. You were over on Nick's call, and
okay.
And so my question is, you probably listened to me, and how am I scamming and deceiving people? There's the first question to ask yourself. Am I pushing any product? Is there anything advertised on my web page?
No, see, that's the whole thing, is when you get on the call, they start out real good, giving you intel and everything. You say, okay, this sounds like a reputable person. But then they have guests on, like Shorty, to sell the holograms, and then on the structured water, and to sell the vitamins.
Hold on.
And now,
Hold on.
What's the name called? Selling trust.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question here. You don't hear me talking about all that stuff. And have you ever heard the term divide and conquer?
Yes, sir. That's what I think this is.
Exactly. So I'm glad that you made it over to the Jerry call. Don't know how long you've been listening, but it's been any length of time, you know where I'm coming from.
I appreciate your call because you give everybody a chance to say whatever they have to say without muting them or without saying, well, don't believe this person. This is all we want. We want somebody to listen to our frustration because I know you're frustrated too. Everybody is frustrated on this call, but they never get to say why they're frustrated without somebody saying, well, okay, wait a minute. No, it's other people on the line. I appreciate you. So, thank you.
All righty, ma'am. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Wingman, what's the 411 for the day?
Just in time to say goodbye?
Almost. Why don't you go ahead and wrap it up? Give your little bit of intel like you would at the very beginning, and then.
All right, hold on one second. I'm just getting back in the car, so let me start the car and let it kick in, and I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll take a caller while you're doing that. Denver, Colorado.
Hey, Jerry.
You're the call. How you doing?
I'm great. I appreciate your call and all that you do. I was so excited to hear Mr. B's voice because I haven't heard him since March on a call when he was very unpopular for his timeline, which was about now. I wonder if we could ask him, is his timeline still now? Does he still think what he was thinking in March? And could he be the one that's right?
Well, he doesn't have his hand raised, and I told him to email me, and I'll give him a call, and we'll sit down and have a chat. How's that?
That's awesome. I would love to hear his thoughts again on that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Jerry.
You're welcome. Well, hopefully about here in just a little bit. Oh, you know what? That looks like Mr. B. Is this Mr. B?
Yeah, it is.
Phoenix?
How you doing?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I was listening and thought I'd raise my hand. Yeah, the timeline is what I laid out in March. And my timeline has been from the 23rd of this month till October 10th. And almost everything that I hoped and dreamed for to happen has happened. And the things that I expect to happen look like they're going to happen. But I'm going to tell you something. That doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean that it'll happen. It just means that the process is moving forward. I pay attention to what actually happens in the world. I don't believe in a lot of the things that we talk about. I just don't believe in them because I don't have any proof. So I like to look at the things that I can prove to myself through my research. And, it really looks good, Jerry. I mean, things look great. They're moving forward. I'm a little concerned about what direction the world will go because I don't really like this idea of a one-world governance. But hopefully we can avoid that. It looks like there's some process in place to maybe get rid of that and still come to parity and uplift the world in such a way that it's never seen before. Think about if you get rid of the financial oppression around the world placed upon countries through governments with the corporate oligarch in control. If you get rid of that and allow countries to move forward with their own monetary policy and their own abilities to create without being stifled and overregulated and bombed or whatever they do to them, which they do a lot, and you get rid of the corporate oligarchs controlling the supply of everything in the world. Remember, in the 80s, we were running out of gasoline. Well, everybody that lived through that should know that was a lie. And that's the kind of things they do. So hopefully things are going to move forward, and hopefully the good guys win. But, yeah, everything looks pretty good. I don't know if it'll bring our blessing, but I have a date for, October 10th, and we'll just see what happens.
Well, kind of, like I said, I'm looking at the first week of October, and so you're earlier than me, but I was talking about this back in July. So, all righty, I got your number now. I'll give you a call later on if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind, Jerry. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Wingman.
I'd like to second everything Mr. B just said. That's pretty much where my head's at as well. I'm hoping for it to be a little sooner, but I wouldn't be surprised if it with the complexity of the legal agreements, the contracts, especially around them. I think it's just gonna take a little longer than everybody expected. And the only thing I had to say today that I think is worth mentioning is the rumor mill is back in full swing. It seems like they took a week off, but now they're back in high gear. And I just really want to encourage everybody, just let it go in one ear and out the other. All the sensational claims, it's going to happen tonight at 2 minutes after midnight or whatever. Just take it, get smoke blowing up your pant leg. It's gonna happen when it happens, and nobody's gonna know the exact moment, except the people who are making it happen. And any little thing you hear, it's now the election's a problem, or now the Wells Fargo scandal's a problem, or now the IMF is a problem. It's the world's a problem. It just is. But this whole thing has been progressing steadily and in a step-by-step manner. And it's vastly, vastly complex. And different currencies have different issues. So that's about it. I'll catch up with you as to what else went down on the call. But the trick now is just, know what's coming, know it's there, know you're gonna be wealthier than you ever thought possible, and it's all good. And as Mr. B just said, how the world turns out post-RV, that's going to be up to us. We've got to be active, and we can't just go run away and be hermit multimillionaires. That's not going to do it. That's not what getting this money is about. That's it.
Well, there we go, and there it is. So again, thank everybody for showing up and listening to the call. And that last lady that said, "Can't we all just get along?" Paraphrasing, how saying that Jerry Maguire's scamming this and scamming that. Bless my heart. I'm glad she came on. Everybody has an opinion, and it was valued and it was answered. So, Heiko, what's that last word of the day?
Bye.
Goodbye.
The conference is now completed. Goodbye. Welcome to the conference.